that own NBA teams. Example, the Las Vegas Aces are independently owned. The Connecticut Sun are independently owned. The Seattle Storm are independently owned. But you have the Chicago Sky independently owned. The Dallas Wings independently owned. There's a fight of power because of all this.
Right now, the WNBA is in the middle of an unprecedented power struggle. On one side, you have 9 independently owned teams, which were built from the ground up by owners who treated their franchises as more than just business assets. They were a labor of love. These were the people who kept the league alive when it was struggling, subsidizing operations, building fan bases, and maintaining stability despite the league being a financial drain. On the other side, you have 6 NBA-backed franchises whose ownership groups historically viewed WNBA teams as secondary interests, side projects often included as part of larger NBA acquisitions. Until recently, the WNBA was a hobby, a philanthropic effort, or in some cases, a tax write-off. But everything changed with Caitlin Clark's arrival in 2024. Clark's impact on the league was immediate and historic. Attendance soared, television ratings tripled, merchandise sales spiked. Her rookie season single-handedly proved the commercial potential of women's basketball in a way no player had done before. Suddenly, WNBA franchises were not merely charity operations, they were potential gold mines. And when serious money enters the picture, control becomes the key issue. The independent owners who had nurtured the league for decades now found themselves negotiating with NBA billionaire owners eager to claim their share of the newfound revenue. That 9 versus 6 power dynamic has become the hidden engine driving this behind-the-scenes conflict. This struggle isn't just financial, it's existential. The independent owners built franchises from scratch, taking enormous personal and financial risks for decades, while the NBA-backed teams had far greater resources and infrastructure. Now, with Clark's market-shifting performance, NBA owners see an opportunity to assert dominance over the league, acquiring top franchises and consolidating influence. The independent owners, meanwhile, are fighting to protect their legacies and maintain autonomy. What was once a collaborative effort to keep women's professional basketball alive is now a battle for control, profits, and long-term strategic positioning. The tension isn't just internal. It has enormous implications for players, fans, and future investment in the league. Decisions made in the boardroom about who owns which team will shape CBA negotiations, salary structures, and the overall trajectory of women's professional basketball for years to come. And it all stems from a single catalyst, Caitlin Clark. She turned a struggling league into a legitimate financial entity, and when money and influence collide, long-standing allegiances get tested, reputations are on the line, and nothing happens quietly anymore.
$50 million to get them a team. Before, for these NBA owners, this was just a write-off. This was just a charity at one point. Remember when Alex Rodriguez purchased the Minnesota Lynx, they were a throw-in on the deal. He did not want the Minnesota Lynx, okay? But he saw they had a good culture there. The fans enjoyed the team, so he kept it around out of respect, and he just didn't, but it wasn't like something he really wanted. He didn't even want it at first. So at the end of the day, this has been a charity league.
Before the 2024 season, the financial calculus for NBA owners and WNBA teams was entirely different. WNBA franchises were often packaged into NBA deals without the expectation of significant revenue generation. A prime example, when Alex Rodriguez purchased a stake in the Timberwolves, the WNBA affiliate, the Minnesota Lynx was included as a courtesy. Rodriguez didn't view the team as an asset worth fighting for. He maintained it out of respect for fans and legacy rather than seeing tangible value. This was a prevailing mindset. WNBA teams existed as adjuncts, tolerated rather than prioritized. Caitlin Clark changed all of that. Her rookie season didn't just boost ratings and attendance. It fundamentally altered the economic equation. Suddenly, WNBA teams had measurable, demonstrable value. Investors started treating franchises like high-potential business opportunities rather than obligations. Expansion fees began to climb, with new ownership groups willing to pay $350 million for a team, a sum previously unimaginable. That kind of capital influx changed the calculus for everyone involved, particularly when it comes to ownership dynamics. The spike in market value has created a situation where independent owners, who previously managed franchises on shoestring budgets and passion-driven motivation, now face pressure from NBA-backed investors with far deeper pockets. The economic potential of the league has drawn attention from billionaires who recognize a chance to acquire profitable assets, putting independent owners in a defensive position. Suddenly, their decades of stewardship are being challenged not by lack of resources, but by the influx of capital and strategic ambition from NBA-affiliated ownership groups. This shift has transformed negotiations at all levels. Expansion fees, team valuations, and revenue-sharing discussions are no longer abstract. They are now being measured against tangible, record-setting financial benchmarks. Caitlin Clark, with her unparalleled market impact, is central to this recalibration. Her influence has created a wedge between independent owners who value control and long-term stewardship and NBA-backed owners seeking rapid capitalization on the league's newfound profitability.
Power, and this is a prime example of what is going on. The Rockets owner expand talks to buy the Sun. Now, if you remember, the Connecticut Sun, we're not looking to sell to Tillman Fertitta, who owns the Houston Rockets, but Adam Silver is seeing to it. You best believe Adam Silver and Cathy Engelbert are not allowing, or they don't want a bunch more independent owners. They are getting these NBA guys to come in and
this power struggle overlaps directly with ongoing collective bargaining negotiations. Players are seeking higher base salaries, improved housing, better transportation, and a larger cut of revenue. The league has responded with offers that include base salaries of $1.3 million in year one, a significant increase that could dramatically improve player compensation. However, the conflicting priorities of ownership groups complicate the process. NBA owners prioritize long-term growth and strategic investment. Their deep pockets allow them to plan for multi-year profitability, including accepting short-term losses to secure future returns. Independent owners prioritize survival and control. They have subsidized the league for decades and are wary of wealthy investors usurping influence over franchises they built from scratch. This fundamental divide makes consensus difficult. The very same team discussions that impact salaries, benefits, and revenue sharing are also intertwined with ownership consolidation and control battles. Players caught in the middle are negotiating for economic gains in a league whose internal governance is fractured. While NBA-backed owners are prepared to increase payrolls aggressively, independent owners are weighing long-term strategic influence over short-term financial reward. This tension introduces risk to salary negotiations, league stability, and ultimately the sport itself.
Here it says Houston Rockets ownership is in substantive talks with the Connecticut Sun over the potential purchase and relocation of the WNBA franchise, sources told ESPN this week. The discussions have been described as positive, and Rockets ownership has improved its offer to a number the Sun might find acceptable, a source close to the situation said. The source said while a former offer has been discussed, the parties have not signed an exclusivity agreement, and there has not been a discussion on the future of the franchise. The WNBA previously indicated strong interest in a return to Houston. The WNBA indicated a strong return to Houston. Connecticut Sun is independent. They wanted to keep the team in Connecticut, but move it to Hartford.
The Connecticut Sun illustrate the tension perfectly. Independently owned by the Mohegan Tribe, the Sun have been operating since 2003, initially relocating from Orlando, and have built one of the league's most stable franchises. Their approach has always been professional, measured, and growth-focused. When infrastructure funding became a priority, the ownership explored investment options to maximize the team's value. Multiple buyers, including NBA-connected billionaires, expressed interest. Ultimately, the Sun accepted a $325 million offer from Steve Paglucka, a former Celtics minority owner, which represented $75 million more than the recent expansion fee paid by Cleveland, Detroit, and Philadelphia. From a purely business standpoint, this was rational. Accept the highest offer, maximize franchise value, and ensure the team's future. Independent ownership models often rely on precisely this approach. But the WNBA rejected the sale outright. Commissioner Cathy Engelbert and Adam Silver intervened, citing league policy that favors current NBA owners. Paglucka, as a former minority owner, did not fit the league's preferred ownership model, despite the financial benefits of his offer. The league essentially blocked a deal that would have maximized immediate franchise value, redirecting the Suns' future toward NBA-affiliated ownership. Now negotiations are underway with Tillman Fertitta, owner of the Houston Rockets, who has proposed approximately $250 million for the Sun, $75 million less than Paglucka's offer. The league's intervention has forced independent owners to sacrifice potential financial gain to align with the strategic priorities of NBA-affiliated investors. This decision has enormous implications, as it sets a precedent for ownership consolidation and control, effectively privileging NBA-aligned teams over independent stewardship.
The dude from Boston was trying to take it over, and they wouldn't even allow him to skip the line. And they're privately owned. The WNBA is telling them who they are going to sell their team to. They are telling them who they're going to sell their team to. It's crazy work. It's crazy work. The WNBA previously indicated strong interest in a return to Houston at the league's three-team expansion announcement in June. Commissioner Cathy.
This power struggle overlaps directly with ongoing collective bargaining negotiations. Players are seeking higher base salaries, improved housing, better transportation, and a larger cut of revenue. The league has responded with offers that include base salaries of $1.3 million in year one, a significant increase that could dramatically improve player compensation. However, the conflicting priorities of ownership groups complicate the process. NBA owners prioritize long-term growth and strategic investment. Their deep pockets allow them to plan for multi-year profitability, including accepting short-term losses to secure future returns. Independent owners prioritize survival and control. They have subsidized the league for decades and are wary of wealthy investors usurping influence over franchises they built from scratch. This fundamental divide makes consensus difficult. The very same team discussions that impact salaries, benefits, and revenue sharing are also intertwined with ownership consolidation and control battles. Players caught in the middle are negotiating for economic gains in a league whose internal governance is fractured. While NBA-backed owners are prepared to increase payrolls aggressively, independent owners are weighing long-term strategic influence over short-term financial reward. This tension introduces risk to salary negotiations, league stability, and ultimately the sport itself.